Hi, it's attorney Peter Olson, Chicago Family Law Group. Here's a piece of advice. Don't fire your lawyer. Okay? Right? It's a good idea, right? Especially coming from a lawyer, but here's the deal. Don't fire your lawyer because the representation you're going to get if you're flipping lawyers, once, twice, multiple times, the representation and the advice, etc., you're going to get on the client side of things is going to be much worse. The person who has 1 to 2 lawyers over a number of years versus the person who's just going through a different lawyer every 3 months. Even if all those people are good lawyers, you're killing the quality of your representation if you fire your lawyer. And I'm going to give you a couple exceptions that I think apply, but they apply, I'm going to say 5 or 10% of the time. Way less frequent than I see people, frankly, changing lawyers more than they should. Here's the example. And it's just this. It's the depth of understanding and just knowledge you acquire as you're an attorney in a case over a number of years is just so critical and frankly so beneficial to the client. Meaning, I'm in a case, I'm getting to know, let me just think of a situation. Just had a guy email me in the last couple days about a pretty simple sort of child support health insurance for his kid's situation. Now, here's the deal. We've represented this guy, I think, since 2009, off and on at different things, a divorce, then we changed custody, got him custody of his kids. This is a relatively small thing, but here's the deal. We're going to be able to just take care of this health insurance problem that the state of Illinois has given him a hassle about in one court day, probably an hour or two of work. Why? Because I know the 5 or 6 year history of the case. He emails me, it's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what's going on. We'll take care of it quickly. We won custody for a guy in October 2015, 5, 6 months ago. Represented the guy since 2011 or so. When you're having a full-on custody trial, the stuff I'm bringing up at that trial, it was invaluable that I knew going back to 2011, 2012, the mother was denying this guy visitation. The mother made 3 to 5 bogus DCFS reports against him, saying he's an abusive parent. This kind of depth is really what allowed us to win that case. I mean, I'm a good, conscientious attorney, but if I'm getting into that case 3 months before the trial and, trying to get up to speed versus just the knowledge that I'm bringing to the table with 5 years of history in that case, that allows us to win custody for that guy. Let me give you a contrasting example. We had a client who fired us as her attorneys this month, a few weeks ago. And so she's now gone through 3 attorneys in 4 months of a case. We did a hearing probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I guess, given the fact that, she fired us as her attorney, she didn't like the result. But here's the deal. We were doing a hearing on some pleadings and stuff that were actually prepared by her previous attorney. So am I bringing the same depth of knowledge and understanding when I'm getting into a case 3 or 4 weeks before a big hearing that I brought to the case where we won custody for the guy who we've been representing for 5 years? Absolutely not. Did I really give her a good representation, thorough representation? Absolutely. Did we get her a pretty good result? I mean, who knows why you get fired as an attorney sometimes. But really, I'm trying to make the point of just compare those 2 situations. This guy where we're winning custody for, and a lot of the reason we're winning custody for it is just how much understanding and just facts I have from representing this guy for 5 years versus this case where we're going into a similar kind of court hearing situation but I hadn't even prepared the pleadings that were going to be heard, and we'd been in the case for 3 weeks. And I'm saying, same person, Peter Olson, attorney at law, given the same effort, bringing my same experience and knowledge, but in this one, the depth, because I'd been in that case, been that attorney for so long versus such a short term. That client, the client who fired us, was hurting herself in a sense by constantly firing attorneys. Don't fire your attorney. Do you understand the difference? It's nothing personal to me. It's just the depth and the history you get when you're working with somebody over a long period of time tremendously helps you and is going to get you better results. So don't fire your attorney. So 2 exceptions. And I'm upfront with people when they come to us, and they're thinking about making a change, because I tell them, don't fire your attorney. 2 exceptions. If you're getting terrible customer service from a lawyer or a law firm, I think that's a reason to fire your attorney. If you're not getting calls answered, if you're not getting copies of paperwork, just the basics that you expect from a company, lawyer, landscaping service, anything. Good customer service has to be part of the package. I think that's a reason to fire somebody. And I think honestly the other reason would just be total undermining of trust. Somebody just does something behind your back that wasn't even discussed with you, or they're going to court without even telling you. I hear of that occasionally. Their lawyer tells client one thing and then does something totally different. So, terrible customer service and just stuff that's really dishonest, those would be reasons to fire a lawyer. But other than that, don't fire your lawyer. Last, I think people aren't doing enough in terms of really looking around for a good attorney up front, and then they're scrambling when maybe something doesn't go quite right. I would say more than half of family law attorneys in the Chicago market are doing some sort of free initial consultation. I know we do. Do 2 or 3. Get a few referrals from friends. Get a few referrals from other attorneys, maybe who don't practice family law. Do that due diligence up front, so then you're not scrambling with flipping attorneys just because something doesn't go your way. So don't fire your attorney. It's undermining your case. Attorney Peter Olson, Chicago Family Law Group. We always do free initial consultations. Make an appointment, 312-893-5888, or you can make an appointment online, familylawchicago.com. Don't fire your lawyer. Thanks.